How old are you?
Well, 21 years old.
Where were you born?
I was born in Bristol, Connecticut.
Have you lived in this place all your life?
No, not all my life. I lived in Harrington for a little while, and I was living in a condo, and then we moved here when I was about the age of 6.
Okay. What were some of your favorite hobbies?
Favorite hobbies? Well, when I was a kid, I mean, mostly just playing around the house, screaming at my parents, but as I grew up, I kind of got into BMX and skateboarding and things like that, and then kind of got pulled into history a little bit, and then through high school I went to photography, video production, and computer networking.
Okay, why? What did you like about those things?
Well, they intrigued me, I guess. Photography, I enjoyed the art, especially with black and white film with single lens reflex cameras, and it just kind of, it was nice to get out and take photos of certain things like natural aspects like shadows or castings or lines or framings, things like that, people, pets, places, and skating. Skating was just like, hey, I can do something, so I did it. And then computer networking, and just started off with downloading MP3s, and then it just amplified from there.
Nice. What got you started in computer software?
Well, after MP3s, I'd have to say cracking a PlayStation Portable, installing custom firmware on it. That's probably what got me going, because I was just like, oh, this is pretty cool. I want to do this some more. So, I mean, like, what really intrigued me to do it was getting Super Nintendo on a PlayStation Portable. So I started to understand computing and learning C++ and how to design my own homebrews, and that's that.
Would you say that would be your favorite thing about it?
No, not necessarily my favorite thing about it. My favorite thing about it was basically opening up a new door to what I could possibly learn. And so far, I've blown away the PlayStation Portable and a lot of other things, and now I'm working on the Vita, so it just keeps going and going and going.
Nice. How long have you been doing it for?
I've been doing this stuff since I was like, I don't know, maybe like 14 years old, 13, 14 years old, somewhere around there. I can't really remember when, but I knew I was like pretty far in the field when I got my first real relationship in high school. And she kind of like motivated me to be better, because I wanted to like be better to benefit her. So she kind of pushed me into, well, not pushed me, but made me feel like I could do more or less. My sophomore year of high school, that's when that all happened.
Gotcha. And so you run your own business now. Is that hard, or?
Not really. I mean, like, the own business aspect is kind of like cliche almost. I mean, like, I don't really have like a building per se. But I do it out of my own house. I mean, like, yes, I have a full-time job working in a factory, and being able to keep customers and holding them to my aspect, I guess, can be a little tedious, but other than that, it's not really that bad. I mean, most of the time, I'm just kind of, taking things out, putting them back in, powering them back up, and making them work. And people are like, ooh, ah, about it, it's like I'm not a god, I just, learned it.
How many hours do you spend a day working with computer software?
Well, I guess I'll just state my regular job. I work 11 hours at that job, and then I get out of that job, and I get out like 4 o'clock, so 4 to like 9. So let's see, it's like what, 5 hours a day?
Seems
most of the time,
right.
and on the weekends it's like all day. So it varies.
Do you have a favorite type of software that you usually like to use, or does it really matter?
Favorite type of software? Well, favorite type of software I like to use, actually, is, believe it or not, probably a web browser, honestly.
Why is that?
A web browser is like the key to information. Like, majority of information on the internet is probably counterfeit, and it doesn't regulate or make any sense, but some of it does. And if you let your fingers do the walking through the internet for you using your web browser, which is just simply like an emulation explorer program, and every computer has it, and you just use that and go to town with it. I mean, it's one of the best programs that anybody could ever think of, exploring unlimited supplies of data to anybody. I mean, like, yeah, video codecting software is fun, audio codecting software is fun, gaming software is fun, and all that stuff. But I mean, when it comes to seeking information, the internet's like where to go, and there's so many different web browsers out there and designs and styles.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I got all these fancy smancy ways of getting information, you know?
That is true. What's the most difficult problem you had when fixing a device?
The most difficult problem I ever had was probably downgrading a Windows 8 only device to Windows 7. And I'll state it for one reason why. Now, there's Wi-Fi cards inside laptops. Everybody knows this. Well, the majority of people know this. And a Wi-Fi card basically is a signal pickup. Your router sends out a wireless signal, and this Wi-Fi card picks up that wireless signal and allows you to have internet wherever you go without being plugged into the modem directly. So anyways, the Windows 8 device was only designed for Windows 8, so the drivers were only supposed to work with Windows 8. So when I downgraded it to 7, because nobody likes Windows 8 for some reason, the driver didn't work, so I had to design a driver myself and rewrite the script code inside that driver to have it work with Windows 7 instead of Windows 8. And after, you know, like 46 hours, I finally figured it out, but it took a little while.
So it took you 46 hours. How long did it take you to repair some of the devices you had? Like, what's the longest you've had to repair something?
The longest I've had to repair something, well, based on the question, I guess I could restate as, like, how long have I taken to repair something? I mean, like, how long have I had to repair something? Like, I've had months to repair things before. Like, people was just like, you know, like, they don't have the money to pay for the repair at the moment, or, like, something came up and they had to, like, leave state, and or a family member died or something. But,
yeah, well, that's what I mean. How long did it take you to repair?
But, I mean, like, the longest repair I've ever really had was 3 days, and that was just basically because of waiting for parts. I mean, most of the things I can fix pretty quickly.
Do you see yourself continuing to do this in the future, or?
I do see myself continuing to do this in the future. I mean, like, I do it on and off now, and I mean, like, my full-time job is basically just A, make my car look cool, B, get a better stereo system in the damn thing, and C, to save up money for me to buy a storefront or rent out a storefront to get my business started, and eventually I want a nice hunk of, maybe even a corporation someday where I can run it, you know. How would you know, Wall Street Journal, Software Reborn, you just see it in there, like, what, Rob Papallo did this? Who the hell's this guy? And, you know, all my ex-girlfriends jealous and shit. It's like, ha, guess what? I'm the guy. I'm the dude that fixed your phone and your PS3 and this and that, and I all started in my own house, just like Steve Jobs started in his garage. He made a Macintosh out of oak or maple. I don't know. I don't remember which one. And then, and he didn't even go to college. He didn't even go to well, he went to college, but he didn't graduate college. And he dropped out of college, went in his garage, and said, "Hey, I'm going to build a computer." And he made his own operating system using a Linux background, and it's one of the most incredible OSs on the market now.
Cool. All right. Well, okay. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, well, anytime.